This is one of Cluny the Scourge's online Rome Total War battles, and I'm playing as the Seleucid Empire. I've taken 5 units of cataphracts, 4 of which I've massed to my left, and 1 I have hidden in the woods on my left here, ready to deliver a counter-attack against any forces that move against my infantry. I've taken 6 units of archers, deployed on loose formation in front of my phalanx pikemen. My 4 phalanx pikemen I have deployed just within the tree line, hidden, but still close enough to the archers that once the archers skirmish backward as the enemy approach, they will be protected by them. Now my plan is that my opponent will see a line of weak Seleucid archers that should present a ripe target for them to pluck. They won't know what's beyond it in the woods. I want them to rush their troops forward to concentrate on those archers, and they will then find themselves fixed on my pikemen unexpectedly. My cataphracts will then strike at the flanks and rear. The 4 cataphracts I've massed together I intend to use to defeat his cavalry, while the 1 hidden in the woods will deliver a surprise counterstroke. My opponent, Impaler, is playing as the Kingdom of Pontus, and he's taken 4 units of Bronze Shield's pikemen, that's the best pikemen available to Pontus, 2 units of archers, and 3 units of heavily upgraded Cappadocian cavalry. The Cappadocian cavalry aren't quite up to the standard of cataphracts because they don't have maces available that can penetrate armour, but they are still heavily armoured and effective cavalry. And with all those upgrades he's poured into them, they should prove a formidable adversary, or at least that's what he hopes. So, in the opening moves of the battle, I leave my hidden unit of cataphracts where it belongs, and I sweep my main cavalry force around the left with the idea of eventually bringing it to bear against the enemy rear, and hopefully getting a strike against those all-important, very expensive, highly upgraded Cappadocians. Now he seems to have taken the bait. He's rushing his main troops, his pikemen and archers, straight towards that line of bowmen he can see, apparently unprotected. Missile engagement begins. He doesn't wait for a missile duel, since with only 2 units of archers to my 6, he clearly will lose that. That also favours my plan. So he sends his pikemen in without pausing. His archers are already being massacred by my 3-to-1 advantage in missiles. Now here you see I'm continuing my encircling move with my cavalry, charging them toward the rear of the Cappadocians. And just as my archers begin to skirmish back, I set my phalanx pikemen into phalanx formation and thus reveal them. Pontus now suddenly faces cavalry striking from the rear and a line of pikemen to the front, and his forces are divided. I charge my cataphracts straight into the Cappadocians, and then immediately order them to switch to their maces by holding down the Alt key and right-clicking on the opponent, and very quickly they break. No matter how heavily upgraded they are, they can't face those maces. Now, while the enemy general's attention is occupied with that cavalry action, his pikemen are simply standing there doing nothing, facing my pikemen. Now that I've completely swept aside his cavalry, I can concentrate on the pikemen with my archers, which I've switched to flame arrow, to try to induce panic once the melee begins. I move my pikemen forward. In those instances where he doesn't move forward to me, he does send 1 unit of pikemen backward, apparently concerned about my cataphract strike against him from the rear, so I simply send my pikemen into the rear of that unit. I selectively choose my pikemen targets with my cataphracts. I bring the 5th cataphract unit out from its hiding place to assist in this. Now in a head-to-head engagement between those pikemen, the Bronze Shields would win. They're far superior to the phalanx pikemen. But with all these cataphracts ripping them apart from the rear, and I'm always taking care to switch to the mace weapon as soon as possible, he doesn't really stand a chance. Now, two of the Pontic units have regrouped, one of Cappadocian cavalry and one of pikemen. He separates them, foolishly. Perhaps if he had kept his Cappadocians supported by his pikemen, I wouldn't have been able to use my cavalry against them so quickly and decisively. Or perhaps he feels that since he's doomed, it just doesn't really matter anymore. Now, in their pursuit of the Cappadocians, I came within a hair's breadth of letting those Seleucids run right into the Pontic pikemen phalanx. But I managed to stop them just in time, as you see, and then one final volley of flame arrows puts paid to the morale of that last pikeman unit. My plan worked.